There is currently no cure for multiple sclerosis, and current treatment can only slow its progression. Well, here to share more on his daughter's journey with MS is Rich Maxwell, member of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. We're glad that you're here with us, and we appreciate you sharing your daughter's story. When was she diagnosed?
She was diagnosed in 2011.
At what age?
She was 22, just graduated college from the University of Georgia, and you know, went to the ER and got seen, got sent home, felt bad the next day, and my wife and I happened to be driving towards Columbia, and when she called and said, I'm going back to the ER. And I said, honey, if you'll wait 3 hours, we'll pick you up and take you.
Yeah.
And so we were with her when she got the diagnosis.
Goodness, what were the symptoms?
She was numb from her left shoulder to her left foot.
Scary.
It was very scary. She was waitressing at the time and dropped a whole tray of Bloody Marys.
Oh no.
But that was one of, looking back, you could see the progression of different symptoms.
Yes.
That were aware. If you knew the diagnosis, you could put the symptoms together. But that's some of the problems with making the diagnosis, is that there are lots of things that could be MS,
right,
but may not be.
But not be. But she was diagnosed quite young, but she may have actually been suffering from MS prior to that.
That's usually the case when people
What
look
is
back
the
on it.
average diagnosis age?
Most diagnoses are made between the ages of 20 and 40.
Okay.
And they're disproportionately shared by women. Women have MS twice as often as men do.
How do you explain MS? I know you brought a prop with you.
Yeah.
So what exactly is it for people who don't know?
Yeah, MS is an autoimmune disease, meaning that the body's immune system, instead of attacking the bad cells like bacteria, begin attacking good cells. So we all know what a wire looks like. It's got the wire in the middle and it's got the sheathing on the outside. What happens with MS is the immune system attacks the myelin, which is the outer covering, exposing the nerve. And it just causes a short circuit. It's the simplest way to explain it.
I see.
And where those short circuits occur, it could be in the brain, it could be in the cervical spine, will dictate what the symptoms are. So that's why it's
your own
so many
body
different
attacking
things.
itself.
Exactly.
I know that there are treatments out there. There is no cure. I know
Right.
that they're working very hard on finding a cure, because it seems like more and more people are being diagnosed with MS. So what are the current treatments? For instance, your daughter, it hasn't stopped her. Let's just also put that out there. She is living quite a wonderful life down in Argentina, of all places. But what are the current treatments and the current treatment that she's on that allows her to live in another country?
Well, so I think one of the things I really want to point out is that in the last 23 years or so, we have made more progress in providing and upgrading our disease-modifying therapies, which, as you noted in the introduction, was it slows down the progression of the disease. It does not cure it. But where in 2000 there were 3 choices, all of which were injectables, today there are 25.
Wow.
And some are injectables, some are taken orally, and some are done through infusion. So we've got many more disease-modifying therapies. What's really exciting, though, is the research that's going on. The National MS Society is leading the charge with what they call the pathway to a cure. And we're coordinating efforts with research scientists all over the world. We're trying to do 3 things. First, slow the progression of the disease. If we can find the mechanics and figure out a way to stop it from progressing any further, we have made that life better for that patient.
Certainly.
Secondly is if we can diagnose it early, we're making progress on finding biomarkers. So we can look at, for instance, the child of someone who has MS and say, does my child have MS?
So you can really target.
If we can target and identify it and then treat it from ever happening. And then the third one is to repair. And that's the exciting thing there is there's really excellent work being done on remyelinization, growing back the myelin around those lesions.
It's fascinating. And your work is worth its weight in gold for that to happen for people in the future who have MS. Now, you do have an event coming up, the MS Walk Charleston, that's happening Saturday, May 13th. It starts at 9:30. We're going to put that information up on the screen.
Great.
I want to thank you so much, Rich, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We're back after this.